Today, South Texas Builders Association held a meeting in McAllen, right here in the Rio Grande Valley, with two people from Congress, Congresswoman Monica de la Cruz and Congressman Henry Cuellar, to address a growing concern in the construction industry, immigration enforcement, and workforce uncertainty.
As a community, are going through some really hard times. Numbers are down everywhere, not just in the construction industry, but in retail, hospitality, the farming business, medical. All numbers are down.
The premise was straightforward. Local contractors and business owners asked for clear guidelines, what the law requires, what enforcement looks like right now, and what options exist for construction companies trying to stay compliant while keeping projects moving.
We want to know, and we've discussed this last time, I'm sure Ms. Monica de la Cruz can shed some light. We want to know the law clearly. What can and what can't be done on worksite enforcement, number one. Who is allowed? What can they do? What resources do we have as property owners to not have people cross our private property? Number two, we would like an immediate pause on worksite enforcement. I know that, it's not as easy as it sounds, but if we need to put pressure, you tell us where we need to put pressure. We'd be more than happy to guide our team and our people behind us so we can do this civilly and we can do it together, because we're a powerful bunch down here. We're quiet, but just don't wake up that tiger, man, because we get crazy and we get down. Right?
One consistent message that came up repeatedly from business owners is a claim that the Rio Grande Valley has seen 35 to 40% revenue declines since the second half of 2025.
It's Martin Gomez, and I'm with Zarsky Lumber. I can speak from a lumberyard that has several locations, not just in the valley, but in other locations. So these fields in where we are in the Rio Grande Valley, a little bit more concentrated here. I mean, we've seen the effects of the loss of the people building the homes, which is our main focus, the building home industry. And we see the numbers in our two locations here in the valley coming down drastically compared to other locations. We're in Laredo, we are in Victoria, Texas, Corpus Christi, others. We're 7 locations, 2 of them here in the valley.
I can tell you that we have seen, especially on the construction side, construction loans, and there are other banks, not just Lone Star, that are very involved in the construction business, and they are seeing it. We've been seeing it in our numbers since the summer, and certainly towards the end of the year, October, November, December, and including especially towards the end of the year, those numbers have significantly dropped, I would say by 30 to 40% of construction activity, and these are all the banks, not just Lone Star National Bank. And I think and I have been meeting with, as I usually do, to call on bankers in particular. Just last week I was visiting with the CEO of another bank, very active, and he was telling me how he had just gotten a call from one of his builders that they had 18 construction workers picked up on site. And so needless to say, that work on that deal just completely came to a halt. So there's real numbers, there's real people, and the impact is there.
My name's Jeremy Smith. I'm with Mott's Building Materials, and I can honestly say I can echo the sentiment of the other speakers that there's been a real impact here in the Valley. I can go back to the beginning of 2024 or 25 and say, where did I see the market going in 25? The first half was sensational, and then all of a sudden it feels like the carpet was pulled off from under our feet, and things just changed. Going back from June, I would say the decline, bear in mind there was an expected gain in the second half, there was momentum into the second half, and all of that momentum was lost, and the economic output probably fell by as much as 30 to 35% in the second half from where it would have been.
Builders in the Rio Grande Valley say workforce uncertainty is affecting business, and they're asking federal leaders for clearer direction. If the revenue decline being discussed is accurate, the ripple effects extend beyond construction, impacting suppliers, local employment, and housing activity.
We're in the process of trying to finish the appropriations, the last four, and one of them is Homeland. Hopefully, we can have a bipartisan agreement on Homeland, and then I can talk about some of the things that I'm trying to add on Homeland appropriations, provide some oversight. We usually do about $10 billion that we provide ICE, but under a bill that got passed, for the next 4 years, there is $18.7 billion on top of what we do for ICE, $75 billion for ICE for the next 4 years. So it's usually $10 billion, but now there'll be almost $29 billion for ICE. So we're trying to provide some oversight on ICE, including language that we're trying to add where it says that ICE will focus on deporting criminals. On deporting criminals is where we should have.
Immigration reform has been needed for many, many years, not just this year, but decades. It's complicated, it is deep. There are many, many sections to immigration policy, visas, things of that nature. And so over the last couple of weeks, we met, I believe, 3 weeks ago, and one of the things that you all asked of me was to have a meeting with DOL and USCIS, transparency on INA, which was the Immigration and Naturalization Act, and immediate status, or also immediate face-to-face with individuals. And so I got to work right away to see what is it that we can do in this capacity to help meet these three asks. So I'd like to share with you what I've done over the last 3 weeks. Number one, we have had dozens of meetings with leadership on the House side and with the White House, including the legislative director for the White House. We have had meetings with different caucuses from the Hispanic caucuses, or this would be me. I've had meetings with the Hispanic caucus on the Republican side, as well as the Main Street caucus, which is the caucus that I belong to. I have set up a meeting with leadership for not only a person to represent this industry, but also the different industries within this community, from a banker to materials, so that way we can give a regional look to what is happening specifically in South Texas. We've also secured meetings with DOL, and so that you all can come together to discuss some of these important issues. And I think that is the first step in bringing awareness. We are hyper-focused, and I am hyper-focused on representing South Texas, and that's why I have been a loud voice in Washington, D.C. To get some of the meetings that we are expecting is exciting, because it means that you all are making enough noise, I'm making enough noise as your leader to put us on the map, to make leadership aware of what is happening here and what our concerns are.
The way you get things done is two ways. Either solutions, either through legislation, but legislation in Congress is like watching grass grow or paint dry. It just takes a long time. But there's the other way is through policy, and policy is important because whoever comes in the administration, they do policy. I'm for deportation, and I know some other folks are for deportation of criminals, and we see different styles. In fact, President Obama is still the #1 deporter, but he had a different way of doing it, and there's different ways of doing it. I don't agree the way they're doing it right now. And when President Obama was there, we actually, in the appropriations, we put language there for policy to say you're going to focus on criminals, you're going to focus on people that are risk to the national security, You're going to focus on people that have final deportation orders. That is, they went through the process and it's final. And right now, I think we got, I don't know, over 1.5 million final deportation orders, and that's where we ought to be focusing on those folks that have final deportation orders or are criminals or are risk. Everybody else that have been here for a long time, I think the policy needs to change on that. So it's legislation that takes a long time, which I support, or through policy.
Whether you're in the industry or not, what happens to construction affects jobs, housing, and growth across the Rio Grande Valley. And I'd like to know, what are you seeing out there?